Hey everybody, it's Raul Valdez, your barista champion here in Florida, Region 18. Today we're going to talk about milk waste. But why are we talking about milk waste? Well, I'll tell you. Profits and loss, a big P&L, right? If you work for this company, chances are you have stock. If you don't have stock yet, you will, which makes you a shareholder, right? So if Starbucks decides, hey, we're going to invest in all this milk for your stores, but yet a good portion of that milk is just being dumped down the drain, that's a loss that could be turned into a profit if that same milk was going back into other beverages for our customers, right? So profit, loss, P&L, think about that. In addition, when you're going through a lot of milk, you're going through a lot of milk jugs, and that's a lot of jugs going into the trash, the recycle bin, hopefully, and then eventually getting carted down to the recycling plant, right? It's a lot of energy being wasted if we don't have to waste it. So keep that in mind when you're steaming your milk. Let's go on and head over to the bar. Now the first thing we're going to do is just steam a regular, ordinary tall latte. Now most of us, when we get to Starbucks, we look at barista basics, we look at the training videos, but sometimes it's nice just to have a good visual of what we're supposed to do. So I'm pouring to the tall line, right? A little more, and there we go, to the tall line. And I'm going to start steaming. I'll pull my shot, and while it's steaming, keep in mind that when you aerate, again, each beverage requires a certain amount of aeration, and we're going to talk more about that as we go along, but just get familiar with aerating, right? Get familiar with it. When you're making beverages each morning or whatever your shift is, really pay attention to what works best for you and what produces the best quality, best standard beverage. Always blow out your steam wad. Alright, now the hope is when we pour this tall latte, we're going to have zero milk waste, or at least very close to it. Alright, there's our tall latte, and there's the milk waste. Pretty much nothing left in the bottom, right? You see right to it. If you've steamed a tall latte and that's what you have left, you're doing a good job. Keep it up. The next beverage we're going to get to is our drinks that we often come across, right? Beverages with sauces. What does that mean? Your mocha, your white mocha, come the fall, your pumpkin spice, any of those guys. And a lot of times we forget from training that when you steam for those beverages, you steam to the line below. So there we are, we're doing it tall, but there it is at the short line, right? I'm going to get that steaming. And I'm going to cue up my shot and grab my mocha. And again, back to the aeration. The big problem with the short line in a mocha or a white mocha is it's really easy to over-aerate. What does that mean? What does that look like? When you over-aerate, it means that once you're finished with the beverage and you pick it up, it's probably going to be super light, right? It's almost going to be like a cappuccino, which isn't what we're shooting for. If you send out a drink and it feels like a cappuccino, one, it's wrong, and two, you should know I've over-aerated. So go ahead and do it again. And it just takes a little bit of control and keeping an eye on your aeration. I'm going to go ahead and grab a spoon, and remember, these are our friends, especially with these sauced beverages. And we're just going to pour like so. And again, the hope here is that we're going to end up with little to no milk waste. Now, naturally, you will end up with a bit of foam. Why do we end up with a bit of foam? Because we're still aerating, right? Some people's natural thought process is, why not just steam the milk? Well, if we just steam the milk, your milk, believe it or not, is going to be a little bit bitter. Because aerating actually sort of mellows out that milk. So don't not aerate, just watch your aeration and use your spoon and you'll end up alright. The next drink we're going to do is one I'm sure you've come across. It's the very notorious no-foam latte, right? No-foam lattes, people love them, people hate them. Regardless, we've got to make them. And to do that, the standard is fill your pitcher to the line above. So unlike with a mocha or a soft beverage, here we are, instead of a tall, we're going to grande. Got steaming, you pull our shot, and remember, same thing we're talking about with the mocha, the natural idea here sometimes is just to non-aerate, right? Just put it in, let it go, and then you just have a bunch of hot milk. But remember, that can sometimes produce a little bit more bitter in the flavor with the milk. Aeration really mellows it out, so keep that in mind. Just keep an eye, you use your spoon. So we'll grab one more spoon. And the same as with the mocha, we're just going to cup it and go. Now, if you look in there, there's no milk waste. That little film, that's just some foam, and that's natural. If you've ended up with that and no foam, you're doing well. And the last step, of course, you can always just go back across the top to get that little layer that is naturally going to occur. And if you let it sit a little longer, a little bit more might happen, might rise up as well. And that's honestly a trick. If you can steam your milk a little early, what will happen is if you let it sit, that milk and that foam will separate, so making it easier for you to sort of cut it back, right? So keep that in mind. Alright, those are our three beverages. We've got our latte, our mocha, and our no foam tall latte. Hopefully these tricks work out for you. Remember, all of this is something you can find in Barista Basics. I always find it advisable to go back through and revisit that material. It's super helpful, super nice, and sometimes it's just kind of refreshing, right? So keep that in mind. Hey guys, subscribe to us. If you like us, subscribe. If you have ideas, things you want to see in videos, send them to us. Love to check it out. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.